let me take you through the projections for vote share in Rajasthan. Remember, this is where the BJP has announced that it will go in without projecting a chief ministerial face. They're also saying that Vasundhara Raje will not be given the kind of center stage that she had in the past few elections. Ashok Gehlot has a record of just seeing his party's vote share crash after 5 years of being in power. So what does the Rajasthan vote share look like? The Congress, remember, in 2018 had a 39% vote share. See voters projecting at this moment that the Congress's vote share could go up to 42. That's the October projection. When this poll was done in July by the same polling agency, the Congress's vote share was at 41. So that's a 1% gain in vote share between July and October. The BJP in 2018 had a 39% vote share. So they had roughly the same amount of votes as the Congress, except their votes were concentrated. The Congress's votes were more diffuse, and therefore their seat conversion ratio was better. The projection in July by C voter was that the BJP would end up at 46% vote share. Now the projection is 47. So the BJP's vote share projection has also gone up by 1. How does this translate into seats? So coming up on your screen now, the C voter projection for Rajasthan. There are 200 assembly seats in the state of Rajasthan. The C voters projecting in October, the Congress's vote share, which was 100 in 2018, came down to 83 in July, has crashed further to 64 in October. So from 100 in the last elections to 64 now, between July and October, 20 seats down. So the Congress in Rajasthan seems to be on a downward slope, month on month. That's the image that emerges from this C voter tracker. The BJP, on the other hand, was at 73 in the last elections. That went up to 114, now projected to go up to a whopping 132. That's up 59 seats from the last elections. And on that note, let me get in Yashwant Deshmukh for his first thoughts on the poll for Rajasthan, which seems to suggest the Congress is getting weaker, the BJP getting stronger, and it seems that Ashok Gehlot, the magician, will live up to his track record, according to your data, of taking the Congress from the high of a victory in one election to a terrible low in the next. And also for 30 years, Rajasthan has had this same formula of voting out governments after 5 years. That seems likely to get repeated. Yashwant.
Well, Rahul, one interesting thing that our tracker is pointing out, which we are routinely doing for PSC and the ABP, is like the bipolarization of these states is getting more and more acute by the day. Even though Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh have been long known for a bipolar state between BJP and the Congress, but there was always like every fourth voter in these states was going between 20%, 25% up to of them were going to others. These others included the BSP and the many of the small local parties.
But can I chip in to make the point that one of the reasons why you're picking up only 10% vote for the others, and it was 18% in 2018, is also because candidates haven't been declared, so you don't know how many rebels are standing. And typically, if there are powerful rebels, then the number of people in your poll who will say they're voting for those independent candidates might be much higher. Because remember, Ashok Gehlot last time, because he didn't get his sway in ticket allocation, put up some of his own rebels, which didn't get captured in an opinion poll, but would only be known in a post-poll or very close to the actual polling. Yashwant.
That's true. That's true. So far, it's really working out like that. Maybe the others' votes might increase as and when the play of the rebel candidates get into action. And it would be interesting to see if that happens. Then those rebels are eating up to from which pie actually in that way. But by and large, as far as Rajasthan is concerned, Rahul, it looks like a routine anti-incumbent verdict, and I don't really have to work really hard to explain that, honestly, because apart from what data is showing, it's very easy for me as from putting my journalist cap and understand that in the last 4.5 years, there was hardly a positive headline, making to center stage from Rajasthan.
No, but one of the things that Yashwant's data doesn't capture, GVL Narasimha Rao, is the subterranean damage some of your stalwart netas could do. For example, Vasundhara Raje hasn't been projected this time. If she doesn't give it her all and she skipped some of the Parivartan Yatras and her supporters just pull their hands and don't fight as hard as they could, the data may not capture it, but andari andar, as was the case with Yadurappa in Karnataka, you may discover later that the situation is tougher than you would have initially imagined. So that's one of the risks the BJP runs.
Not really, Rahul, because such calculations were made even in the last assembly elections, and quite contrary to the projections in 2018, the BJP barely, I think the Congress barely made it to the government. They did not even secure a majority. They were able to, they thought of a massive anti-incumbency against Vasundhara Raje government. It was calculated that the BJP was a completely divided house. There was no clear projection on the leadership. Despite all this, Congress could not even get a majority in the last election. So therefore, while we have several important leaders in the state, and they all may have their own, they have their own stature, but it only adds to the BJP's strength. It does not in any way work against our electoral prospects. So 130 is quite a 134 is a very realistic number according to me, and we could even surpass that, because even when we won in 2013, we won a we had won a landslide mandate. Okay. This could even turn out to be a landslide.
You know, that's what's happened in the past. When Gehlot became chief minister in 1998, the Congress had about 45% of the vote share. In 5 years, Congress's vote share crashed 36%. That's a 9% loss. Their seat share fell from 153 to 56. That's a 100-seat, virtually 100-seat loss in seat share. In 2008, when he became chief minister, the Congress had 96 seats. 5 years later, the Congress's seat share in 2013 was down to 21. So this has been, Amitabh Tiwari, the track record of the magician in Rajasthan. After winning, somehow it's not like the BJP lost last time, but they weren't routed. They were at 73, which is bad but not pathetic. Gehlot's track record typically has been that after 5 years in power, the Congress on his watch gets routed.
Yeah, so when BJP wins, it wins big, and when Congress loses, it loses badly. And when it has been winning in the past 2008 and 2018, it has not been able to score the simple majority mark. So what happens is that Ashok Gehlot has an image of a status quoist. If you talk to the people there, what happens generally is that Ashok Gehlot comes into action or gets into action only in the last year of elections, and that has an impact on the overall performance of the Congress. In this term, what many Congress supporters also believe is that Ashok Gehlot has been largely for the first 4 years trying to settle the factionalism with Sachin Pilot. So he has been caught up in factionalism, trying to save his chair rather than administrative issues. And that is why perhaps this time we are seeing the trend, and the same trend has been observed in the past as well.